Everything you were taught about confidence is a lie designed to keep you loud, exhausted, and easy to read. You think confidence is the guy who talks first, laughs loudest, and never seems to run out of things to say. That's not confidence. That's a performance, and performances need an audience to survive. Machiavelli spent his life studying rulers, courts, and the quiet mechanics of who actually holds power in a room. And he noticed something almost nobody wants to admit. The most dangerous people in any room rarely raise their voice. They don't explain themselves. They don't chase agreement. They just watch. And that stillness rearranges the entire balance of power without a single word being spoken. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn the cold, uncomfortable version of confidence, the kind that doesn't perform, doesn't beg for approval, and doesn't flinch under pressure. The kind Machiavelli understood 5 centuries before anyone gave it a name. If you're ready to stop performing and start operating, type cold in the comments right now. Let's get into it. The performance trap. Most people have confidence backwards. They think it sounds like constant talking, bold opinions delivered instantly, and a face that never shows doubt. Society hands out the label confident to anyone who feels silence the fastest. Machiavelli would have called that something else entirely: theater. Because the moment you need to prove you're unshaken, you've already revealed that you are. People exaggerate certainty precisely because uncertainty costs them status. That's not strength, that's damage control performed in real time. Here's the trap. A man performing confidence is completely dependent on his audience. His posture shifts with approval. His energy collapses under disapproval. His entire identity becomes a costume he has to keep adjusting so it doesn't slip. That's not confidence. That's reputation management, and reputation management is exhausting, fragile work. Machiavelli built his entire philosophy on a harder truth: real authority never comes from how you appear. It comes from what you actually control: your timing, your information, your reactions. The man who needs to prove his composure has already lost some of it. Watch how this plays out in an ordinary room. Someone challenges an idea, and the performer feels an instant pull to respond, to correct, to reassert his status before anyone notices the crack. That reflex is the tell. It says quietly, "I need you to see me as strong." Machiavelli's princes rarely had that luxury. A ruler who needed constant reassurance from his court didn't stay a ruler for long. So the ones who survived learned something the rest of us are still catching up on. Authority that depends on an audience isn't authority at all, it's a loan. And loans get called in eventually. The man who doesn't feel silence, real confidence, looks almost boring from the outside. He doesn't rush to feel silence. He doesn't over-explain his next move. He doesn't perform certainty for anyone's benefit. His behavior isn't designed to impress an audience, it's designed to protect a position. This is the split that matters. The performer chases visibility. The strategist chases leverage. One is burning energy, maintaining an image. The other is quietly shaping outcomes while nobody's paying attention. That's why real confidence often feels colder than people expect. It's quieter, more selective, less emotional. It's comfortable with ambiguity instead of racing to explain itself. And here's the strange effect that creates. When people can't measure you, they hesitate. Not because you forced anything, because your stability makes them uncertain of their own footing. That's the darker layer of true confidence. It removes the need to prove anything at all. And a man who no longer needs to prove himself simply stops performing. He becomes harder to read, harder to provoke, and steadily harder to challenge. Why calm men quietly control the room? Pressure exposes more truth about people than comfort ever will. The second tension enters a room, reactions start leaking out everywhere: sharper voices, tighter posture. conversation speeding up as everyone scrambles to regain footing. In that chaos, emotion becomes visible long before any real strategy shows up. This is exactly where composure turns dangerous. A calm man inside chaos creates an imbalance most people can feel but can't explain. While everyone else is reacting on instinct, he's collecting information, who feels threatened, who's desperate for approval, who can't tolerate a single second of uncertainty. Machiavelli believed real control rarely comes from dominating a room outright. It comes from understanding the reactions happening inside it. The man who refuses to react immediately gathers intelligence while everyone else is busy broadcasting their weaknesses for free. When a man won't react on command, his silence gains weight. Every word he finally chooses lands heavier, because it arrives after observation instead of impulse. This is also why composure intimidates people more than aggression does. Anger can be predicted. Defensiveness can be manipulated. But calm restraint gives people nothing to work with, and that absence of predictability is precisely what shifts influence toward the person who refuses to be shaken. Confidence without approval. Most people believe confidence is built from encouragement, praise, recognition, support. Machiavelli saw something colder underneath that belief. Confidence built on approval collapses the second approval disappears. This is the trap almost nobody notices they've walked into. You think you're getting stronger, but you're actually outsourcing your entire sense of worth to other people's opinions. You soften your actions to stay likable. You shape decisions around how people might react. And slowly, without ever choosing to, you stop acting freely. Approval becomes an invisible leash. Compliment a man like this and he becomes instantly cooperative. Withdraw that same approval and he starts doubting his own judgment. Criticize him publicly and watch him scramble to repair the image instead of the substance. His emotional state is no longer his. Someone else is holding the remote. Real confidence begins the exact moment that dependence disappears, not through arrogance, not through isolation, but through independence. A man who no longer needs constant agreement can make unpopular calls, tolerate being misunderstood, and keep moving even when the entire room disagrees with him. And that stability creates a strange reversal. The moment someone stops chasing approval, other people start seeking his. Independence reads as internal authority, and people are drawn, almost against their will, towards someone who appears to answer to no one but himself. The power of emotional coldness. Emotion is one of the fastest ways power quietly changes hands. Not because feeling something is weak, but because a visible reaction hands other people a map straight to your leverage points. Anger reveals what provokes you. Excitement reveals what you want. Fear reveals exactly where the pressure works. Machiavelli watched this pattern play out across an entire era of politics. Rulers who reacted emotionally handed their rivals a blueprint. Every visible flash of frustration, every defensive outburst, told the room precisely how to destabilize them. This is why emotional detachment builds authority. A man who stays controlled while others react becomes almost impossible to read. His responses slow down. They become deliberate instead of automatic. Instead of leaking his state instantly, he absorbs the moment first and decides on purpose how to respond. That pause changes everything. Most conflict escalates through emotional rhythm, one reaction sparking the next, until instinct completely replaces strategy. The man who refuses that rhythm interrupts the entire pattern. Silence replaces escalation, and uncertainty spreads through the room because nobody knows quite how to read him anymore. Detachment doesn't mean feeling nothing. It means refusing to broadcast what you feel. A composed man can experience real anger, disappointment, frustration, all of it internally, while his outward behavior stays measured and unreadable. That gap between feeling and reaction is where clarity lives. And clarity is exactly what manipulation depends on you not having. Machiavelli was clear on this point. A ruler whose every reaction is visible has effectively handed his strategy to the room. If your face gives away every shift in mood, your intentions are already public knowledge before you've made a single decision. Keep that gap intact, and you keep the one advantage nobody can take from you, the element of surprise. Strategic indifference, attention is currency, and where it flows, influence usually follows close behind. But there's a quieter way power shifts inside a room through indifference. Not the careless kind, the strategic kind. Machiavelli understood that the person who appears least dependent on an outcome almost always holds the strongest position in it. The instant someone looks emotionally invested, the balance starts tilting away from them, because investment reveals priority. A man who rushes to respond to every comment, every message, every small challenge, is quietly announcing how much the situation matters to him. That urgency becomes visible, and once it's visible, he becomes easy to pull on like a string. Strategic indifference removes that urgency entirely. He doesn't chase every reaction. He doesn't fight to win every argument. His responses arrive when they're useful, not when they're demanded. Silence is allowed to sit in the room without him needing to rush in and fill it. This changes how people treat him. When someone can't be easily pulled into every exchange, others start adjusting their own behavior just to earn his attention. Words get chosen more carefully. Conversations slow down and get more careful, because attention has suddenly become expensive. People naturally drift toward what feels less available. The man who looks overly eager becomes predictable, and predictable men are easy to manage. The man who stays slightly out of reach creates tension, and tension creates gravity. The silent intimidation effect. Real intimidation rarely starts with aggression. Most people picture intimidation as raised voices and open threats. But the most unsettling version of it is far quieter. It comes from presence, not pressure. A man who's internally stable creates tension without even trying, because most social environments run on a constant stream of subtle emotional signals, tone, posture, expression, that tell everyone else exactly where they stand. The moment someone stops giving off those signals, the whole interaction becomes harder to decode. Machiavelli noticed that unpredictability creates psychological discomfort on its own. When people can't anticipate a reaction, they start approaching the situation far more cautiously. A man who doesn't chase approval, doesn't compete for attention, and stays steady no matter who walks into the room, changes the entire emotional temperature around him. People start measuring themselves against him without meaning to, watching how he responds, what he notices, whether their words move him at all. And when nothing visible happens, unease creeps in. Because the absence of a reaction raises a question nobody can answer. What is he actually thinking? That uncertainty, quietly, becomes its own form of intimidation, not because he demanded it, but because his stillness forces everyone else to reconsider their own behavior. Why confidence attracts resistance. Confidence doesn't always earn admiration. Sometimes it earns resistance. People will happily talk about respecting strong, decisive individuals in theory. But in real rooms, visible confidence often triggers something else entirely: comparison. The moment a man carries himself with genuine certainty, others start measuring themselves against him, and his stability becomes a mirror reflecting back their own hesitation, their own compromises, their own quiet insecurities. Mirrors make people uncomfortable. Machiavelli understood this dynamic clearly. Power never exists in isolation, it reshapes the entire hierarchy around it. When one person starts acting with certainty, everyone else has to either rise to meet it or push back against it. Most choose to push back. That resistance rarely shows up loudly. Humor gets a little sharper. Doubt starts creeping into conversations. Decisions get questioned, not because they're wrong, but because undermining the confident man's influence quietly restores the old comfort of the group. This surprises a lot of people, because they assume confidence automatically buys acceptance. Instead, it often creates friction. The stronger someone's internal direction becomes, the more it exposes everyone else's lack of one. When confidence becomes untouchable at a certain point, confidence stops looking like confidence at all. It becomes something far harder to influence. Most people operate inside what you could call a social frame: reactions, tone, and decisions constantly shifting based on the emotional signals around them. Approval lifts their energy, disapproval drains it. The room quietly shapes who they become in real time. An unshakable frame runs the opposite direction. Instead of adapting to every shift in the room, the man holding it keeps his psychological position steady, no matter who walks in or what tension appears. Machiavelli saw this play out again and again. Leaders who constantly reacted to criticism or flattery slowly lost their grip on real authority, because their decisions were being driven by emotion instead of strategy. An unshakable frame removes that vulnerability entirely. This man's direction doesn't collapse just because someone questions him. His tone doesn't shift because another person tries to dominate the conversation. His priorities stay clear even when everything around him gets uncomfortable. The effect this produces is powerful. People start adjusting to him instead. Voices soften. Arguments lose their edge. Conversations slow down and get more careful, not because he forced any of it, but because his position simply refuses to move. That's the moment confidence quietly turns into authority. The close, real confidence was never about volume. It was never about winning every argument, filling every silence, or making sure the room saw you as strong. Real confidence, the Machiavellian kind, operates in a colder register entirely through composure, through restraint, through the refusal to need anyone's permission to keep moving. What you just walked through is the darker mechanics behind it, the kind that doesn't perform, the kind that doesn't beg for validation, the kind that doesn't collapse the second pressure shows up. It's the version Machiavelli studied when he mapped how power actually moves between people, not how it's supposed to look on the surface. The second you stop reacting on impulse, stop explaining yourself to everyone in the room, and stop depending on approval to feel steady, something shifts. You become harder to challenge, harder to manipulate, and that's where real authority quietly begins. If you made it this far, drop cold in the comments so I know you stayed for the whole thing. Share this with someone who still thinks confidence means being the loudest person in the room. And subscribe for more on Machiavellian strategy and the psychology nobody teaches you. Once you start seeing this clearly, you stop playing the game blind. Most people will watch this, nod along, and go right back to performing for a room that was never actually watching that closely. They'll keep filling silence, keep chasing approval, keep negotiating their worth one reaction at a time. That's fine. That's most people. But if something in this shifted for you, if you felt that quiet recognition of every room you've over-explained yourself in, every argument you rushed to win, every silence you couldn't stand to leave alone, then you already know you're not most people anymore. Machiavelli didn't write for men who wanted comfort. He wrote for the ones willing to see power exactly as it operates, not as it's supposed to look. That's what this channel is built on, not motivation, not hype, but the cold structural truth about how influence actually moves between people. Every video here strips away another layer of the performance most men have been taught to mistake for strength and replaces it with something colder, quieter, and far more durable. If you want to keep building that version of yourself, the one who doesn't need the room's approval to know where he stands, subscribe now. Because this is only the beginning of what Machiavelli actually understood about human nature. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown, because the laws only compound from here. Drop cold in the comments if you're staying for what's next. Like this video if it landed, and send it to the one person in your life still performing confidence instead of building it. The room doesn't reward the loudest man in it. It quietly follows the one who stopped needing it to. That man is who we're building here. Subscribe and become him.